All right, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Grant again, and we've got the BMW behind us, the 535 N55. And we're gonna try to see if we can do some intake valve cleaning. So just a little history on this car. This is a 2011. I picked it up about 6 months ago, has about 132,000 miles on it. In one of the videos you'll see, if you look at the channel, I installed a oil catch can. The oil catch can's been on the car for about 1,500 miles, and I'll try to see if I can insert a clip here in just a moment. But when I went to just inspect the oil catch can, there was quite a bit of blow-by in my opinion. So that got me thinking that, hey, we probably should take a look at these intake valves. So that's what we're gonna do today. Gonna start working on that. Again, at the moment, I don't have to use this as my daily driver, so I don't know if I'm gonna do this all at once or if I'll piece this video together. But we're just going to get moving on this. So I'll try to see if I can give you a little bit of details on how to get this taken apart as far as the N55 engine. If you guys really want to see a real detailed explanation how to do this, I'm going to put a link in the description below. It's Vehicular DIY does a great job of explaining how to do this, but it's on an N54 engine. So there's going to be some slight changes with the N55, but man, he does a really great job. You guys should go to his channel as well. He's a BMW guy. Like and subscribe over there as well. But I'm going to try to see if I can get you some information on the N55, and we'll see if this really makes sense on the N55 engine. There's a lot of guys out there that says, hey, you know, the new N55 does not need intake valve cleaning, and we're going to see if that's true or not. So we'll get to those details now. I think I'll try to see if I can't get that oil catch can video input right now. Okay, fellas, we're going to do a quick follow-up. We've had this oil catch can installed for about 1,000 miles, and of course I wanted to just make sure that none of the lines are pinched and that I'm actually getting some good enough flow through the hoses. So we're going to just uninstall. Well, not really uninstall, but we're actually just going to remove the canister here and see how much blow-by we may have in the can. So we're going to do that real quick, and I'll show you the results. Okay, let's go ahead and unscrew this real quick. And again, we're looking at probably a little over 1,000 miles. It's only been installed for a few weeks, and wow, that's a lot, to be honest with you. Was not expecting that much. If you can kind of see that, there's quite a bit of fluid in there. So if you can, I'm not sure if that's being kind of picked up on the camera or not, but I would say about a third of that this little canister is full of blow-by, which kind of seems like quite a bit, I think. But of course, this is my first oil catch can, so I'm not an expert in that realm. So I may see if I can get some feedback on that. Wow. Okay. Well, seems to look like it's doing its job, but yeah, just did not expect to have that much in there. So we're gonna reattach that, and then probably I'll have to figure out how to dispose of this this fluid. All right, guys, like I said, just want to give you guys a quick update. It does look like that is catching quite a bit of blow-by on this 2011 N55 engine. So give me some comments. Let me know what you guys think about that. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys have taken off your airbox before, but you just need a T25 to be able to remove the 6 screws around the perimeter of the airbox. Now, when it comes to starting to remove all these other components, the only thing that I always stress is to make sure that you're just very careful. You don't want to really try to force things out, just because a lot of this is plastic and it is prone to break. So just take your time. You don't have to rush through it. Okay, and when you're removing the actual base of the airbox, it actually just has 3 sections here. So 1, 2, and 3 that just snap in. That just rubber grommets, so you have to pull pretty firmly, but you don't really want to jerk too hard on this because you don't want to break your air intake there as well too. Okay, again, so what you'll see here, you got to squeeze these connections here. They should open up and allow you to remove some of these connections, these hoses and things like that. I'm just actually rotating mine up out of the way. Now I'm going to try to go ahead and take the rest of the intake off. In actuality, I really want to see about taking this airflow sensor out. I haven't had an opportunity to clean it, so I think we'll give that a shot next. This doesn't necessarily have to come out, but like I said, I like the idea of cleaning it if I can. Okay, and we got that sensor out. Doesn't look horrible, but there is some oil residue on there. Actually, kind of not sure if that even picks up on the camera, so I think that's just from some of that blow-by. As well as now we're going to go ahead and keep taking off this manifold, the intake manifold. So again, you've also got back here, holding down this wire loom, you've got still T25 screws. So the thing that I like to do is take them out so that you can see it's not attached anymore, and then screw them back in where they're supposed to go. So that way you don't have to worry about misplacing them or losing them. You know, and you'll just remember when you put it back in that this goes with that connection or this screw, that sort of thing. So we'll just keep working. Okay, again, just pulled out the sensor here that goes on the top of the intake, and you can actually see, I'm not sure if that's being picked up on the camera or not, but you can see oil or blow-by residue. I can get that to focus. See that blow-by and residue on that sensor. So again, I'm kind of taking these out and inspecting these sensors and cleaning them myself just because of the mileage that I have, as well as I felt like I must be having an issue with excessive blow-by. Okay, we got somewhat of a little table set up here. Could not, for some reason, with the tip of this, I could not get the small nozzle to go in here, but we're still going to try to see if we can't just clean this off. It says to do about 10 to 15 small bursts. There we go. I think it's pretty good there. Let that kind of drip out, and there we go. So, got a clean map sensor. I'm gonna let that set and dry, and then we're gonna grab the other one and repeat that process. Okay, now when you get ready to start actually unbolting the manifold, there are bolts here basically on each side of the cylinders here. So you've got nuts that need to be removed here, and then this one, and that is actually a 12mm socket that's needed, and I believe that's actually a 12mm stud that's there as well too. So we're going to go ahead and start removing those now. Okay, so we've got a lot of things disconnected. We've disconnected our charge pipe, which is really oily on this connection here. So, but what you want to make sure you do here is there's some wires or cables that run behind this intake. So I've had to actually disconnect some of them, as well as move some of them out of the way, just so that I can actually get it to be able to lift up on the intake and try to remove it. So that's what we're going to do now, without breaking anything. Yeah, we're going to have to disconnect a few more of these down here just to make sure. So. Okay, after I determined that I needed to disconnect all the harnesses off of the DEM, I did realize I finally got this actually removed, and yeah, man, it looks like there's a lot of oil, even residue, around that throttle body. So we'll try to clean some of that up, but there we go. We have access now to take a look at the intake valves and see where we're at. Okay, so this is the moment of truth. We're gonna get a second. I'm gonna have to get the camera off the stand and we'll take a quick look. Okay guys, so I'll let you guys be the judge on what you guys think as far as intake valves. So that is, it's like cylinder 3, I believe that should be. And you can see that definitely not nice and shiny. Does not, I mean, it's got carbon. It's got carbon on there. Does not look brand new by any means. I think, of course, I have seen some shots of some of these on a N54, and it doesn't look quite as bad as the N54 does, but definitely not what I would say clean. So you guys tell me what you think. And I apologize for the camera moving. I'm trying to get you guys the best view I can. So what do we think about that? That to me looks like a carbon buildup. So we're gonna, and I apologize, I don't know if I can get good shots of the rest of these, but they're all about the same as far as that carbon buildup in there. So we're gonna see what we can do to get these valves clean. Okay, another thing that I think you guys might like to see, if you see that is actually a little small puddle of oil in the charge pipe. So yeah, definitely having, I think, a little bit of an issue with blow-by. Well, fellas, I would say by far my worst culprit is that cylinder 6. It's really hard for me to get back there, but you can see that one does seem to be caked up with carbon. So again, I know the N55 does not necessarily have the carbon buildup that the N54 does, but I tend to think there's still carbon buildup. All right, so this is the product we're going to be using. CRC's intake valve and turbo cleaner. Again, check out the DIY over on Vehicular DIYs. He does a great job with this. I don't know how much I'm going to actually film of the cleaning, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys a before and after. Okay, fellas, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but you see there's bubbling going on in there. That's what you want to see. That's the chemical or the cleaner doing its work. It's in there cleaning these valves as well as the walls. So we're gonna let that set for some time, and then I'm gonna probably come back here with a toothbrush and try to agitate that the best I can as well too. So definitely good stuff going on. All right, guys, so we're gonna try to see if we can take a look at the final product here. We've been working on these. I've been doing it on and off for about a day or two, just because I do have the additional cars to drive. And so let's see if we can get a good view there. This is basically what we're kind of looking at. The stems are almost 100% clean. You can see the top of the valves, and I'm starting to see if I can get another light here too. See it there you go. You can see the top of the valves. That is a whole lot better than what we started with. So definitely looking 100, like I said, a lot better. Not necessarily 100%, but I will take it. That valve there is actually open. Here goes another one that's closed. Let's see if I can get it to focus there. But yeah, it's definitely did like I said, came out a lot better than what we had originally. Now I will say this has taken me some time. I'll spend some time because I again have additional car to drive. I wasn't too concerned with getting it done the first night we started. So I would tell you, if you're looking at tackling this job, again, because I did it multiple times, I've actually gone through both bottles of the carb and intake cleaner or intake valve cleaner. I've probably put about 5 to 6 hours of cleaning time in here on these intake valves. And that's, again, it probably wouldn't have taken as long because I had never actually fully taken off the intake before and all of the connections and things like that. One thing I forgot to mention on at the first part of the video is I did go ahead and take out the spark plugs as well as the ignition coils. That way when I turned over the engine, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't gonna have any issues with hydro locking or anything like that. So now what I'm gonna do before I put it back together, just have that engine turn over a couple times, make sure everything is expelled, make sure I don't have anything down there on the cylinders or anything like that. So we're just gonna let that the starter crank over for a little bit, and then I'm gonna start buttoning everything back together. All right. And one other thing I did was, of course, I went ahead and took the throttle body off, cleaned the throttle body, took out the MAP sensors, both of them. Went ahead and sprayed some MAPS airflow sensor cleaner on those, and just trying to make sure that kind of went through it as thorough as possible. So I'll start putting everything back together, and we'll pick up here in probably in seconds for you guys, but we'll pick up here in a little while with the first start. Okay, fellas, so we got it all back together. It's all buttoned up. Surprisingly, of course, it went back together a lot faster than when it came apart. Of course, now I'm just crossing my fingers that I plugged every last sensor back in. I'm pretty sure I did. I double checked everything. So we're getting close to that starting time. One thing as a side note, my battery is actually hooked up on a charger maintainer right now. So I know when I actually get ready to start my car, I'm actually going to get some codes, because I've already purchased a new battery, which is down there, but I've never done the coding on it at this point. So since I haven't coded the battery, I'm going to go ahead and try to start it with my old battery on the maintainer, just so that we can see if the car starts. Again, crossing my fingers. I've seen a couple of videos with the guys that have done this. Usually it takes quite a few times of the engine trying to crank over before it actually starts up. And I'm not sure if you guys have ever done this or not, but whenever you start ripping into the engine, you taking that intake manifold off, going through a process like this, the biggest thing I'm thinking is, man, please let me make sure that I don't have anything in my cylinders, that everything has been expelled out. So I turned the engine over multiple times, used my air hose to try to spray, to try to make sure I had everything out of, if there was anything that dropped down in the cylinders, that it was all blown out. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a try. Okay, fellas, it's time for the moment of truth. Hopefully this is gonna start up. First time. What? All right, fellas. So I know this video is taking a little while. We did a lot of the intake valve cleaning that we discussed earlier in the video, but I've actually had to take a couple of days in here in between because I actually had to order a new valve cover. So I'll get into that and show you guys what's going on there. As I think I've already inserted the little clip in this video showing how much blow by I was getting in my oil catch can. Come to find out, I had an internal leak on my valve cover. I found another video on YouTube, like you guys, I'm always looking on YouTube, so found another video showing you how to identify that leak, and so I'm going to show that to you real quick. And then I'll show you guys the new valve cover that I got, because I did not go OEM on this one. So I got a replacement one aftermarket. It looks like it's really good condition, but I haven't truly inspected all, so we'll show that to you here in just a moment. So we've got the engine bay all buttoned back up after doing the intake valve cleaning. Started up the car, and after even getting those intake valves clean, I still had a really rough idle, which I've had since I purchased this car. And I didn't really know 100% what the problem was, but coming from a big LS 460, Lexus, I was like, well, maybe it's just, I'm just used to a really smooth idle, but I think this still has to do with this issue. So if you look here, the video that's posted in the link below, it talks about how you can find an internal leak on your valve cover that most people, won't be able to locate. Even if you use a smoke test or anything like that, you cannot find this valve leak, or not valve leak, but this vacuum leak. So what you do is, if you actually remove this connection here, and that actually goes down to your vacuum pump, inside this small hole here, which you probably won't be able to make out anything here, it should be dry, because this is just your vacuum line. And if I reach in there, you can see how much oil is coming out just by reaching in there and touching. I didn't even go down into the cavity there. I just kind of touched my hand around the rim here, and that's how much oil is actually being sucked through the valve cover into this compartment, which is not supposed to be getting oil. This, again, is supposed to be a vacuum line. So that tells you that there's actually an internal leak here in the valve cover. So I'm gonna have to replace the valve cover. So that's what we're doing here. And so what I have over here is the box just came in earlier today. So got home, and this here is the new valve cover. So looking over on some of the other websites, and actually going back to, I believe it's Vehicular DIY that I post a link here showing how he did the intake valve cleaning that I just did. This is actually the valve cover he was showing that he put on his car as well too. As well as I saw another couple of threads online. And just a second, let me see if I can find my stand here so that I can, so I'll be able to use two hands. Okay, sorry, we're kind of tight on room here in my garage, but this is the valve cover that we just picked up. If we can, first of all, the packaging that it came in, a lot of extra cushion and protection in here, so that's good. That's always something you want to see. Want to hopefully make sure that it's not damaged in shipping. Okay. Get some of this plastic off. So when I looked online, trying to see if I could find information on this, I saw that there were quite a few, of course, purchased. A lot of these valve covers were purchased by other people. Every review that I saw was really good. So that was one of the first things I was looking for, is wanting to make sure that we had good reviews. But yeah, I mean, if you look at this valve cover, looks like really top-notch work. I would say looks like very nice details. Some of the valve covers I've seen people posting photos of, and it just kind of looked like they were just not really well made. They didn't really look quality. This actually does look like it's a quality piece, and that's what a lot of the different reviews said, that they felt like it was almost OEM. Like it was hard to tell, and looking at this, I can see what they're saying. It does come with gaskets, not only for the entire valve cover gaskets, but the 3 gaskets in the middle as well too. It's like this one here just kind of got pushed out of its seating. So definitely, I'm happy with what looks like the quality of this one. When I purchased it I actually got it off of eBay. Ran $90. So definitely a lot better than having to spend $500 from BMW for a valve cover. I could stomach $90 even if I have to do it a couple of times. You know, and again, looking at the reviews that I saw online, it had 5 stars. Everybody was really giving a thumbs up and saying that it was good quality, and I would agree with that. Looks very well put together. So we'll go ahead and install this, and I will. I might, I'll give you guys updates in the future if I have any issues with it whatsoever. But just looking at the quality, it looks really good quality. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that at all. So I'm going to get started on removing the old valve cover. I won't bore you guys with that. Man, there's so many videos online on how to remove the valve cover, especially since I just removed it and doing the rest of this intake cleaning. Okay, fellas, so we've got the old valve cover off here. There it is, and then of course it's sitting next to the new valve cover. I will say, like I said, looks really good. Of course, we don't have the maul actually right there on the new one, which is to be expected. One thing, just keep in mind, if you guys do pick up one of these valve covers, you do have to actually swap this over from your old one. So that one there, and the only difference here is this, of course, has these little brass inserts. This actually just threads right into the plastic. You just kind of have to get it started, and then it'll thread right in. But other than that, we're pretty much ready to go ahead and put the new valve cover on the engine and basically reverse our disassembly. So there you can see we've got the engine disassembled here, and at least the valve cover off. We're gonna go ahead and put the new one back on and keep on moving. Okay, guys, just want to give you guys that little insight. But like I said, right now the quality of this valve cover looks really good. Okay, guys, we got everything buttoned up. We tried to double check everything, as well as got the oil catch can hooked. Everything's all hooked back up. One thing you'll notice here on this is the old valve cover, of course, that came off. I mean, the amount of oil that's actually leaking out of this valve cover right now, and a lot of it, I'm not sure if you can even see that, but that's actually a pool of oil inside. That you see it as it shakes. There's a pool of oil inside that vacuum line. So Yeah, so there's a reason why I was getting so much blow-by in this engine, as well as burning more oil than what I think it should. Actually, now that I think about it, I've already had to, picked up the car in July. I actually verified with BMW that there was just an oil change done in July on it. By about, I want to say, October, I had to add a quart of oil. And I think that is probably the culprit. So we're gonna monitor this. Of course, it's nice that we have the oil catch can so we can kind of see how much blow-by we're going to be having with the new valve cover in, and we'll keep everything updated. But see if we can't get us a smooth start. Hopefully, we always cross our fingers when we have to put the car back together. We always want to make sure we don't have any issues. So I'm going to try to get some of the stuff cleaned up real quick, and we'll see if we can get a quick start on it. One more thing that I wanted to mention before I threw this valve cover away. Not only did we actually have to swap over this little connection here with the 2 bolts, but the small nipples, there was actually a hose that came off here, and then almost like a kind of a cap hose here that we actually had to get off of this, and that's what my pliers are here for. These things were on there for some reason. Really, they were pretty much stuck on there. But this actually goes to a small vacuum. Some of you guys probably already realized this, but this one actually goes to those 2 connections there. So there's the first one, and then the second one is there. And then as you can see, that hose from that one on the far right goes down, and it actually connects down lower there to another, just basically a vacuum. So just want to make sure you guys were aware of that if you do end up getting this valve cover. Okay, let's get our first start in probably a little over a week or more. Alright fellas, well it looks like this is going to be the end of this video. If this is your first time to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and like the videos. If you guys have any comments about this intake cleaning, put those down below in the description, as well as leave me some comments on some videos that you guys might like to see in the future. Definitely want to kind of keep bringing this type of content for you, especially for the 535 and the N55 engine. So let me know what you guys would like to see. Alright, have a great time guys. Good. We're gonna let it warm up and then I'll take it for a quick run.